Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're back on PTCGO and I'm going to be showing you guys my list for a Sword and Shield On format control deck. Now, Sword and Shield On is a format that people have been playing recently because I don't really like Standard. And there have been a whole bunch of different decks. There's been Cinderace, there's been Lapras, there's Frostmoth variants, Manlyzation, Zamazenta, straight version, and not really control decks popping up yet. But here is a Sword and Shield On control deck list. And I'm going to be looking at this deck list right now. For those of you who don't know, the Sword and Shield On format right now is from the Sword and Shield base set all the way up to Vivid Voltage, and this is my list. So the goal of this list is that you have Cinccino to be drawing you cards with that make do ability. Discard your card in your hand, draw 2 cards. Very, very, very good. That's our engine. And we also have 2 copies of this Teddiursa with baby doll eyes. They make it so that your opponents, during the opponent's next turn, their active cannot retreat. So you can do is you can boss up like a Crobat, use baby doll eyes, and it forces them to find a switch. The goal of this list is to make them use all their switches. Now, we only have 2 Teddiursa. We can get them back with our Ordinary Rods. And we don't have to run them out of switches only with Teddiursa. We also play a 2-2 lineup, this Galarian Perrserker, for a metal stealthy claws. You do 20 damage and you flip 3 coins, and if any of them are heads, your opponent reveals their hand, and for each head you discard a trainer. So that's how you can get rid of multiple switches at the same time and without having to waste a prize card. And to reflip those coins, we can have Glimwood Tangle as well. We also have 4 copies of Sonia. We can get out our Minccino, or we can keep spamming Teddiursa to help us do that. So we get rid of all our opponent's switches, and then what do we do? Well, we boss up something and like a Crobat, and mainly Crobat hopefully, and use Threatening Pattern for 30 damage. And during your opponent's next turn, energy can't be attached from your opponent's hand to the defending Pokemon. So they have no switches, they can't remove that effect, so they can't attach energy to retreat. Now you might be saying, well, why do we have Teddiursa then? Well, that's because in Turnus matchup, they can actually attack with the Crobat. So once we run them out of all their switches, then we can Threatening Pattern. They won't be able to attack with that Crobat. And while we're using Threatening Pattern, we can power up our Centiskorch with 100-foot flames each fire. We discard the top card of our opponent's deck. So while we're using Threatening Pattern, we can just set up a whole bunch of energy on the Centiskorch, then use 100-foot flames a couple times, put in Galar Mine, which makes their Chicos at both added Pokemon 2 more, then makes it so that since we've making it so they can attach energy with Masquerain, then 100-foot flames, we have 3 turns to mill them out of all their cards. We can have upwards of 6 energy on the Centiskorch, milling 6 cards every single turn. And yeah, that is the deck. We have 1 Pal Pad. We can get back our supporters, 2 Air Balloon, 4 Quick Ball, 4 Evolution Incense, 4 Great Ball, so a ton of Pokemon Search, 2 Metal Energies. Keep in mind you can't get those Metal Energies back, and those Perrserkers, as well as Meowths with Ordinary Rod. And yeah, that's the list. 3-3 Minccino, Cinccino, 2-2 Centiskorch, 2-2 Masquerain, 2-2 Perrserker, 2 Teddiursa. Want to search Ordinary Rods, Air Balloons, so we can promote someone. We can have just a pivot, which is going to be really nice. And 4 boss, 4 Sonia, a whole bunch of energy. Now, next I'm going to talk about some things that I would like to add to this deck. The obvious one here, I think, is Hammer. Hammer we really, really want. That is going to just be really, really nice because we can, we don't have to use Threatening Pattern. We can get rid of their energy with Teddiursa. So again, something like Eternatus, we can make it so that they cannot attack with their Crobat. Something else I want, there are more control cards. For example, maybe another Teddiursa if you really want it. Obviously, a card like Ditto Prism Star would be very good for this deck. Level Ball. This is in the standard right now, but in the next set we are getting Level Ball. Level Ball will be very good for this deck because all of our pre-evolutions have under 90 HP, and so does Cinccino. So that can be really good for setting up our draw engine and just getting set up in general. So Level Ball will definitely be something to consider when that card releases. But yeah, that's the control deck. Our main focus on the first couple turns is get rid of all of our opponent's switching cards. That is the main thing about this deck. Excuse me. You want to get rid of all of their switching cards, because then we can bosses orders something up. In starting pattern, use Baby Doll Eyes, mill them with Centiskorch, get rid of more switches of Perrserker. And yeah, that's how the deck works. It's a mill/control deck. I also would like more Pal Pads. More Pal Pads would be nice, but this deck is just kind of tight on space. I don't know what you could cut. Maybe you could cut some Fire Energies, maybe a couple Sonias. But yeah, also is noting Sonia gets basics and energy. So while you're using threatening pattern, you can also be using Sonias to get a whole bunch of energy over multiple turns and using them to power up your Centiskorch. A third Ordinary Rod would be okay in this list. I wouldn't mind that. So maybe like if you really want to, if you want to find the space, you can go 3-2 Ordinary Rod. Maybe add in some Crushing Hammers instead. I don't know, but that is where I'm at. I really like playing control decks. They're very hard to play. They can be pretty hard to do well with, but it's just really fun to play something that isn't just main idea is just to do a whole bunch of damage. So yeah, that is my Sword and Shield on control list. If you guys liked it, you can subscribe. Do a whole bunch of more deck profiles, maybe some packs openings at some point. Subscribe, like the video, because I think this list is pretty good. The main thing is that Glimwood Tangle and Perrserker, flipping heads of Perrserker is always very good. So yeah, see you guys in the next video.